like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, but when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming, or on the edge of remembering?
Well, that was so sweet. The senior center calling to remind me that they're picking me up for an appointment tomorrow. So I had to take the call. Okay, so I ordered, I thought, 7 ounces of wool roving. What I actually got is 1 pound of wool. It's not quite the same. So we'll check it out. Oh, look, we've got all right. So this is a coarser wool, little stinky. In fact, I think I'm going to air this out. It smells very like a barn, but you can't wash it in advance, apparently. That's what makes it all felt and shrink. Okay, so this is for making sturdy outerwear. This is going to be bulky and fluffy. It's going to be very much like my first 2 purses. It'll be tough. It'll make some really cool texture when you felt it. with synthetics or different kinds of fibers that don't felt well or at all. But you know, it's undyed, so you can build the body with this, and then when you want to add your color or patterns, you would do that on top with a softer merino wool that is a finer, like, you know, 19, 20 microns, and this is more like, it's huge, like 30 something. So although it feels soft to the hand, we know the truth. It is some heavy duty stuff. I don't know why that's there, but anything can happen. So I'm just going to kind of like find a place over here to safely hang it, to air out, which will be over my canvas after I put some plastic over it so it doesn't get stuck to the canvas. Oh, here's that one of purses right now. Okay, so this stuff will make purses like that. This is just like 3 layers, very sturdy for 3 layers. Now, I might have added, it feels nice and bulky, I might have added a 4th layer for the bottom, but not the flap. So I'm really happy with how tough this is. It's really strong. And then I made it even stronger by making a strap out of it and needle felting it to the whole thing. So that's what this is going to yield, this kind of a material. As you can see, I have little white bits and pink over it. You add the color afterward. But first, let's take care of this stinky stuff. And I'm going to have to learn. This is the first time I've had the actual experience of a smelly yarn. I've heard about it, but so far everything I've purchased has smelled just fine. But it is from, you know, a barn, and unfortunately there is nothing I can do about this one. But this is also the last that I'll be buying from overseas, because we have located some farms that are within driving distance now. And now that we have identified them, it's just a matter of making the day to go visit them and see what they have to offer. So I'm excited. We're going to just make this into felt just so we see how it works. I think this is the stuff that you can expect a lot of shrinkage, but that's part of the deal, right? In fact, that is what you're counting on, is shrinkage, so that it gets felted fuller. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, so this is my first experiment embedding something solid that I'll be removing after it's fully felted. And the reason is I'm trying to make a little extra design that lets more light through from behind. Oh, I guess I'll have to watch for allergies to foreign wool. So this is, I can use more felting, definitely. But we're getting there. This feels nice and solid over these little bumps. I have a total of 4 because I wanted to have some time to play with it. Now this is still not, well, it's metal. It's never going to be completely felted. It has to have some felt over it. And that's right, I ran out of that wool, that color. Now some of it is on. We've got that all right. What about you? How are you doing? Not bad. Well, when it's all done, I will, if necessary, and I probably will, I'll just needle felt it in a little bit and make sure it's more secure. But in the meantime, let's continue folding it. And this method of this tight little roll seems to be really effective in getting things to shrink faster. Now, I've been wanting this tea for like an hour. That's how long it's been sitting with this little lid on, waiting for me to get over here. Everything has been disrupting today, but not in bad ways. Just took longer to get to the table than I planned. But I have had a nice morning, and I hope you have too. Isn't that weird? Stay. Well, wearing slippery apron and slippery dress. I guess the two are just not going to get along today. Now, I could use this cylindrical vibrating filter, but we're going to try it this way for a bit. Now, in just a few minutes, we'll be able to remove the resist and felt it inside out. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to check the steps. Oh. I gotta check my watch. Well, these things are so tricky. You barely touch it and it changes the screen. I think we can go ahead and do the next stage. Let's see, just hang out there and dry. Thank you. Oh, look at that. That got flipped. Happy 111. Make a wish. That color is gorgeous. Beautiful blue. My chair is noisy today. Oh, good. Some gold migrated. Good sign. I think I need to fix the gasket for the air cushion. Okay, let's get our model. Yep. I need to wash it. So we've got our 3 windows here, and the 4th one way up here. Well, this is going to be interesting. All right, I'm going to go wash this out. All we're going to let this sit for a few minutes while I make our test swatch, our test pre-felt, as it were. Now the cool thing about doing this is it's not a waste because you can cut it out and use it in something else for texture. Now this, like I said, this has really good crimp. It's kind of a heavy duty wool. I'll be glad to wash this, I'll tell you. Get a little more. All right, so that's very thin, but technically 3 layers. Let's get some soapy water. Now this is just room temperature water. You don't want to shock the wool with too hot of water to start. You know what? I'm gonna throw a little color on. Here's a towel. Let's put it on half. This is definitely a less coarse, but not the best. It's been combed and all that, so it's nice. It's a finer wool than this. Now this being so thin, it's going to felt really fast. That looks like it. One thing I noticed right away with this wool was stuff from the field. There was a foxtail thistle on the end. It's like, oh, I remember those taking them out from between dogs' paws and praying they didn't get any in their noses. That it was dark black and it stood out very easily. Okay, let's do a little It's getting there. Ugh, but it stinks. It's gonna be hard to work with this. I'm gonna go rinse it out and see if that helps. All right. Ugh, does not smell great. I definitely don't want my friend to have to go use this. All right, this is a little better, but not good enough. I don't know who's going to want to wear something made out of wool this stinky. I'll have to look into how you neutralize barnyard smell. I mean, I can't even tell what it comes from. Okay, obviously it can still be felted some more, it's still floofy. But the tendency of this kind of wool is to be floofy, which is why it's used to fill pillows and things instead of make things with them. Although it's sold a great deal for core material for doing felted things like animals and, you know, sculptural stuff that requires stiff structure. And this is certainly cheap enough to roll into, squash into a needle felted body. But we are not doing this for needle felting. We're doing this for wet felting. And this is the test swatch of the new pound of wool I just got. But the smell is so nasty, it's stinging my eyes. So unless I find a way to cure that, this can go right back to China. Well, at least I know what to look for when I go shopping at other farms nearby. No more imported from China wool. Now, another supplier of wool is New Zealand. They have amazing wool. I've used some of it and definitely liked it. Okay, this is, that needs to stand there and drain. Oh good, okay, you can see the 3 little knobbies now. Okay, we're going to need starch to work with this one because I want to do some sculptural stuff on the sides. I like yeah, stretching that. But I don't want to interfere with these 3 little windows I'm planning. So let's do this differently. Now these oranges in here will brighten up when they're dry. Right now everything's a little darker because it's soaking wet. Here, give me a little pupuk. This is going to have to go on something taller. Because I'm running out of room here. Okay, and you. And this one. Yeah, my fingernail grabbed that gold thread and just pulled it. All right, that has to wait. Yeah. But you, if we want to finish felting you, ugh, I hate wasting it, but I don't know if it's going to be worth it. Picking up little bits of other color here. Now I know how to return the proper pH to the wall, but I don't know how to get out the stink. Now this is something that the cylindrical vibrating machine would work on. I keep forgetting about it because it gives the wrong impression. Works pretty good. Wow. It's shrinking very well now. Oh yeah. As you can see, there's almost nothing left of the frilly edges. They have now matted up pretty well. We've got little strays here, but even this, which I didn't work on. Yep, I got a nice tough piece of felt here. So one more wash, and I'm going to take this and throw this in the bathtub because I want to get rid of that stinky soap as well. Okay, here we have it. The eye-watering stench of a barn. I don't know, actually, I don't mind being in barns. Being on the farm for 17 years, surrounded by them, I'm good with barn smells, but there are some smells that are not okay, especially when you're making articles to wear and carry and ugh. Now this is definitely very rough. This is good for making slippers, boots, maybe mittens, as long as the inside is lined with a softer merino. Other than that, you don't want this against your skin. This is like the old-fashioned, don't wear it, it feels horrible, because some wools really aren't meant to be next to your skin. They're irritating. And if you look at the structure of the wool hair itself, you'll understand why. But this is a shame. I waited all this time for something that turns out to be unusable. Ugh. If only you could just wash it, you know, or soak it in vinegar. But once you do that, you can't felt it. It has to be basically like virgin wool. So I guess the idea is clean your animals before you harvest the wool. I don't know what they do, but considering how much wool I've used this year and not had any bad smelling wool at all, this is pretty amazing to me. But now I know what they mean when they have a stinky wool. But that aside, the smell aside, you can see how nicely this gray, which is a soft gray, a bit of a dusty gray, but you see how well it came through here. That would make a really nice finish for a coat or a cape or slippers or a bag, you know. So that's very disappointing. Okay, I was hoping to do something better than this, but it didn't happen. So let's move on to the next project. Tea. Now, I really like the shape of this vase. Makes a nice lamp. So let's make our cut. Glasses. All right, we have our little window here of the pink, and this will be splayed out kind of like an anemone. I'll have to do this again with starch instead of water because that's got soap in it and I'll have to get rid of the soap. But let's get the other three open. And we've got magenta and purple behind that. Come on. Oh, it was thin over that spot. There you go. Okay, so these little windows should throw some different colored light. Once I've got the candle in there. Okay, got a red one, pink rather. Pink, purple, blue. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I have to set this aside to dry. I'm challenged by my klutziness. Nope, need something a little bigger. Oh, come on. This must be it. Let's go with that. Oh yeah, that is just absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Outrageous. And look at that pink. Oh, that's beautiful. Now that is gorgeous merino, and this is 19 micron. Very soft and beautiful and perfect. Perfectly what I need. Okay, and does that crazy color go to? That's rough. Forget it. No. But we need something that says, I'm a little girl. Because this is being made for a little girl. No, that's for a big girl. That's for I'm a teenager. Let's go with this. And we've got, what do we want for the first layer? We've got that really pale stuff. We've got this candy pink. I don't know, little girls. See, when I was a little girl, I'd go for the slightly different color, but a lot of little girls just go for, you know, straight up baby girl pink. All right, let's go with the baby girl pink. If I can use up all of the stuff of that color, I'd be happy. Nope. All right, let's go with what we've got. And since it's for a little girl, let's pick out some kind of cool embellishment. Oh yeah. Look at that. Let's play with that. Get that correct. Now I think I'm just going to lay this out first. We're going to layer the wool on top of it instead of this on top of the wool. That way all of the work will help get this incorporated. That's just too cute. So we don't necessarily want to go in a straight line. Now we're going to flip it and do both sides. Okay. Let's make sure we lay this out evenly. Half and half. Now this feels like a coarser wool, though it has been very nicely handled. Okay. Well, looks like we're going to have to use both sides. Hello. Uh-huh. Yep. But you can suspect that, and it would not be unreasonable, would it? Now, in the old days, Maui, you might remember, I don't know if you talked among men about women with children, but it was always, if you want to get into that woman's heart, you're going to have to get her through the kids. Those kids don't like you, you're never getting near mom. If only that was completely true. I hated my stepfather. My mother married him anyway. Yeah, you didn't let him have it, did you? Because you don't know for sure, and you don't ever want your cat eating something that doesn't come out of your hands. Not to make you paranoid, but my cat, my grandmother, her neighbors they poisoned two of her cats. So she stopped getting cats. Yeah, right in the garbage. If that's not a ploy, what is, right? Okay. Now I can bring this down the same side, but it'd be cuter on the other, I think. Then again, maybe not. No, we want on the outside. I don't believe anybody would poison your cat, but we don't take things for granted anymore. Yep. Well, my grandmother was a religious woman, and that's what they were killing her cats over. But I'm guessing it's more likely someone trying to worm their way into your heart through your cat. It's just never a safe assumption, you know. You did the right thing. There are a lot of those kinds of people out there. No conscience. All right, I have to get another color to do the other side with because we just ran out of all of this particular shade of pink. I could do white on the other side and then do this pink overlay because that's super soft. I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm going to be sending a lantern to my bosom buddy out in Tennessee. And her grandchild is with her almost every day. So I'm going to make, when I mail the one thing, I'm going to include this little purse for her granddaughter. All right, let this hydrate while I go get the other pink. Or white. How much white do I have? I don't know, that's a yellow white. That won't work. It is a beautiful shade, but it's wrong. No, not quite. I think we have some pure white. We do. No, it's different. Way different. Way different. Well, that's super light. And you are super light. That'll work. Okay. Oh dear. Shit. That's bad. If they do that often enough, you'll lose the garden. They'll claim the water bill is too high. A bag of clams, just what you need. Something toxic. Well, the clamshells are good for the soil if it's too acidic, but you have to do a pH test before you risk adding that. It can over-neutralize things and make things unavailable. Oops, come back here. So I was waiting on a pound of roving from China, and I got it today, and it is the worst thing I've ever seen, or smelled, rather. It stinks like a barn, only worse. It's also not what I ordered. It's not roving. It's filler, which is a coarser size of wool. It's good for making slippers and stuff like that. The stuff I'm making, it's okay for the body, but if it smells like that does, I made a sample, and even though I washed this twice with soap and water, it stinks. Not as bad as the raw wool, but I've got that hanging out all over my easel, and it's terrible. Their time. So you basically need some kind of a system. There is one way to stop that. If the maintenance guy's willing, you can cut off the water supply after, when he's getting ready to go home for work at the end of the day. So you just have to get your watering done during the daylight hours. He leaves at 5. no watering after 5, and that way there's no water out there. Oh. So we can't cut off the access to the water, or the sprinklers won't work, right? You can't see your garden from your apartment windows, can you? Well, I wish I had an answer for you, but our management, our gardens and all that stuff is set up so differently. And now they got maintenance involved, the gardener maintenance, which is a good thing. They did get some plants. They got a gorgeous rhododendron, a pink rhododendron. Yeah. I can't see what I'm going to be gardening. I can't see it from my side of the building at all. Now, in fact, for me, I literally have to go down to the lobby and step outside. It's a drag when you can't see your own stuff, you can't protect it. Of course, the danger with leaving water on it is not just that they're wasting fresh water, which is scarce on islands, but they can create a sinkhole under your garden, which you've already seen happen with your neighbor's garden. Too much water, and that's what happens. Things open up from underneath. See, there's homeless people who are respectful and they don't do shit like that. And then there's the ones that are also nuts and careless. And those are the ones that are harder to deal with. Because you don't want to see anybody homeless. I mean, that's a desperate situation, but they're not endearing themselves to the neighborhood, you know. Hobos used to look for work in exchange for food. And although, unfortunately, there were some bad apples in those bunches, the majority of hobos were known to be honest men. But depression and poverty helped drive them out there looking for work. See, people don't remember the Depression because almost everybody who lived through Depression is dead. So all those lessons, aside from YouTube archives done with AI and a few honest men, they're people are not aware that the Depression caused mass migration of Americans, that we left all over the place. My grandfather had to go coast to coast to keep the family eating. And he had to change what he did for a living multiple times to feed everybody. You gotta be flexible. Oh, I'm sure you are. That's really nice. Did she accept it? I always shared things from my garden too. It's nice. It feels good to share something you helped nurture into life, knowing that somebody appreciates it. That's killer. And now you're a good man, and you will find good people. When you want to find good people, they will find you. Your vibe attracts them. Even people who are idiots are attracted to your vibe of peace. They just don't know why. They try to make you more like them. They don't understand what they appreciate about you is you being you. A famous surfer? Well, like that's gonna do you any good unless he wants to hire you for something. Said, you don't have to be anybody. I'm giving you the plant just because. You're special just being alive, okay? You're worthy. You don't need to know anybody famous. That's just a sign of people being insecure. Unless she was trying to give you context of what she did during the day. Is she a surfer herself? Oh, we're gonna get some more of this out. Now that is really nice merino. It is so soft. This is how it should be. There are titles. Oh yeah. I think you mentioned that before, and I think I've read a little bit about that. Just coming across stuff. Not looking for anything in particular. Oh, look at that. It's like silk. That's the stuff I really love working with. God, get some more of that color. It's nice. Well, you know, a long time ago, we didn't have last names. Our last names just became associated with what we did for identification. Like, oh, Jack the blacksmith. Yeah, we just call him Jack Black. Because, you know, blacksmith. And of course with kings, yes, definitely. I'm the brother of the king. Yeah, and you're going to jail. No, no politics today. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There's some long ones in there. It looks kind of cool when it shrinks. Not sure if I did this right. Well, I guess gonna pretty clear. Oh, who wields power and all that. It really gets kind of silly, but it's the same principle as the naming of the gods and goddesses. The Greek pantheon got so huge, or maybe it was the Roman one after that. The Romans came in and took the Greek pantheon and gave everybody gods and goddesses new names. So they also had different duties. And after a while, apparently, there were so many stories, so many gods, that it was like, well, what can we name after you? You know, the son of this, the grandson of this. It's like, I think at some point they just stopped giving them gods. You're the god of mosquitoes. We're out of everything else. There we go. Isn't that fun? The god of mosquitoes. Yes, and you'll have to marry a goddess of equal stature. So, flies and up. Let's get a different piece here. Come here. Oh, there you are. Still very fragile. I just need to stick together so I can wrap it. wool over there. Get out of my way. Now what we're looking at is actually the inside of the bag. The outside of the bag that I'll be showing has the fancy string attached, and you can't see it right now because it's wrapped inside. The new person employs his family. Oh yeah, that's terrible. Talk about political. Okay. Well, I am really pleased that our town has shown some progress. We had a Democratic mayor running who wears a turban, and people were saying, I don't think he's going to get elected because he's wearing a turban. And I said, I think that Americans, for the most part, are aware enough that it's okay if somebody wears a damn turban, for God's sakes. That's their personal choice. Who cares? Well, you know what, there's a lot of people who care about how other people dress, speak, etc. But I was really happy to see that nobody cared. They really like his policies. They like that he's a nice man, that he has made a great effort to reach out to the people on a human, level. And that's really important for our politicians to have more conversations directly with the constituents, because we've got so many people pulling crap that the voters definitely do not want, and a lot of the people are powerless. Like my friend in Tennessee, whose granddaughter I'm making this for, she is freaked out and angry. She's a Democrat, and they just erased all the Democrat representatives for the state of Tennessee. So, yeah, things get scary. And she's concerned because she's got, grandkids that she wants to make sure grow up with some chance of happiness and good health, but they're down south to begin with, so that's already not a point in their favor for health. South is notoriously not good with their diets. That is funny. That is funny. We don't have that problem, but yes, I can see on an island. And that is a really good point. Everybody is related or they know each other. It's pretty much impossible to get past that, because if you're looking for a rep who knows the islands, that means they've been there a while, which means they've married or intermarried or etc. So that's funny. Yeah, they got to bring somebody from another island. That's not a bad idea, though. Put together the juries and bring them on over from a different island, so there can't be any, hanky-panky with the juries. I think they have that same kind of a problem in the country where the towns are very small, but they still have court hearings and they still have jury trials, and yeah, you know everybody. Probably one of the first things they ask, do you know anybody here? Are you related to anybody here? Have you heard of anybody here? But that is a really good point because, you know, although I don't have any trials going on in book 3, the focus is the island of Gazebo. The whole story, 90% of the story takes place on Gazebo. So it's, yeah, that's interesting to think about because everybody is related on the island, or, yeah, pretty much everybody on the island is related one way or another because they've been closed off from the rest of the world, and nobody can get on or off the island. It's under a magical shield, so they've been inbreeding for hundreds of years. However, in the case of Gazebo, the results of what happens under those circumstances, you know, that's part of the story. It's not exactly the same thing that happens here genetically in normal humans. And they did start off with a very diverse gene pool because some of the people on Gazebo are Nomarian and some of them are humans that came from Earth, along with a bunch of other things that the wizards liked on Earth, so they brought them to Gazebo and hid them on the island. Yep. Yeah, that's gotta be a hard one. How did they get around that? You're gonna have to stand trial on the mainland because you know everyone here. If you put him in, my daughter will never get married. You're going with her future father-in-law. No, you can't do that. Now, I don't know why, actually, I have not been called for jury duty since I moved back to the state. I was called several times down in North Carolina, but it was a small town, and I guess they've got a lot more people to pick from these days. Also, probably don't want to take, you know, as far as my records are concerned, it shows me as being disabled and a senior, so they may just go, more trouble than it's worth. I'm glad they stopped sending them. Yeah, I just don't get any anymore. The last time I went to serve, I was too deaf, and they didn't have anything that would help me listen, so they dismissed me because it was more frustrating to work with someone deaf then it wasn't. Were you here when I opened up that pound of wool? By the way, I've had bad luck with Temu this week. I mean, really bad luck. I finally got that bamboo board, cutting board I wanted. When I got it, it was like, I could have done better locally. I could have gotten a much nicer board right here at home instead of waiting 2 or 3 weeks to get it from across the country. So that annoyed me. It didn't have any instructions on what you do with it, and yes, natural fiber boards, wood or bamboo, have to be treated before you use them. So I did what I looked it up, of course, and I already had the mineral oil because I ordered bamboo before and I had to send them back. They sent a set and all 3 of the pieces in the set were cracked. Well, this one looked okay except like low quality. I washed it, dried it, and figured today I'll put the oil on it when I have a minute. So I went to put the oil on it and it had already cracked. The lamination separated on one side of it and it was warping. It's like, God damn it, not again. So I got a refund. I'll see that in the bank in a few days. And I'm really glad I did, because when the shipping and the tax was all added up, it was like almost $20 for this really crappy little board that I would say, if it didn't warp, was worth about $5. If it didn't warp. Now it's not worth anything. So I got my refund. Well, I ordered a pound of natural wool roving. And roving is different from filler. Well, I got filler. I got a pound of filler. And although it was not what I wanted, I could have worked with it. The problem is it stinks like urine, like from a barn urine. It's disgusting. I have a sample here. I used some merino on top of the wool. It's a rough wool that you can make like hard stuff out of, like well, stuff you don't want next to your skin. A cape, a hat, a coat, boots, slippers, mittens, if they're lined with merino wool to make it smoother and nicer on your skin. But anyway, I washed this twice with soap and it still smells. Ugh. But the other stuff, I've got the whole pound hanging over my painting to air out. I can't use it. And I got that so that my friend and I can make a purse for her sister as a gift. She'll get sick having to try and smell this. It's disgusting. And you can't wash it before you felt it because it'll shrink, which is what you're trying to do. This is wet, so it'll shrink. Hi, Gary. So I'm really disgusted. I'm going to have to get my money back from that. That was a good 3 weeks of waiting. So I'm like done with Temu. I just want to get my money back. And the next wool I get, I will get locally. It's just a waste of time and money to do this. Dollar store minus 99, right? Well, it's when they say shop like a billionaire. What they should be saying is shop like you're making, shop like you're going to make somebody else a billionaire. You're making somebody else a billionaire. And by the way, there was a suspicious crossover between a Temu and Amazon purchase. One of them delivered the other's product that I ordered. It's like, wait a second, I ordered this from Amazon. Why is it coming from the GoFo shippers who handle all of the Temu stuff? It's like, how did that happen? So I suspect that people who are selling on Temu are also selling in the Amazon marketplace. And occasionally the labels get mixed up. And instead of it coming through Amazon, it comes through GoFo. Shop like you're poor. Well, that's it. Have you seen all of the McDonald's ads? They are so hard targeting colored youth. All right? If you're not white, there's a McDonald's ad just for you. They're going for the kids, they're going for the Asians, they're going for the blacks and Hispanics, they're going for everybody but the whites because they know it's garbage food. So, yeah, now it's like, don't shop. Just don't shop until you see, wait. Oh, definitely. I didn't realize that until I bought that necklace for 89 cents. And you saw it and you said it's on sale in your store for $27. And sure enough, I found the same thing. It was not that week. It was like months later, but yes. Absolutely. It's like, oh man. And the problem with that for TJ Maxx, Gary, is the more people figure that out, the less business TJ Maxx is going to do. That's why they're not really caring about the merch. They're caring about signing you up for the credit cards, so they make the money on that. That's all that's about. But no, I am this wool thing just really, it was bad enough I had the disappointment today of the, because that happened this morning when I oiled my board and I saw it was warped and the what do they call it, you know, when you glue the wood together, lamination, when lamination was separating. It's like, I just freaking bought this, I haven't gotten to chop one thing on it. And now the wool was, that's 2 disappointments in the same day from Temu. Yep. Well, the more that we have to change, that's why. They don't change if we don't change. And I'm working on changing. Like I said, I do not want to be reliant on all of these horrible people because they are horrible people. And they're, you know, they're not caring. I saw AOC questioning today about the, how come we just made it so that Bayer, who's Monsanto, Bayer can't be sued anymore by all the people suing, like 70,000 people suing them for cancer caused by Roundup. So Trump made it so we can't sue Bayer, even though they're a foreign company. They're not an American company. Monsanto was. Well, I think Monsanto was. But anyway, Monsanto sold out their name anyway to Bayer, and Bayer's been producing all of the horrible poisons that they will not use in their country or anywhere else in the world, but not here. Now they can use it here. So when they talk about buyer beware, it is more important than ever because you're being deceived actively now. I mean, they've always deceived you to sell you shit, but now it's evil deception. Now it's like, we're outright not going to tell you what's in that stuff you're drinking. We're not going to tell you outright what's in that food you're eating. And we're going to try and steer you away from any of the good food because that comes from other countries who will not accept our stuff because our stuff's crap. So we're not even going to let you buy that. We're going to prevent it as much as possible. We're going to double the price. We're going to tariff the shit out of it. Like when I went to shopping last week to just get some basics, and the butter that I use is now like $11 for 2 sticks. What does that tell you? Oh yeah, but he's also losing. Mostly what he's been doing is just getting things tied up in court. But he's losing. So, you know, there's a lot I can get passionate about. He's more than foolish. He's out for revenge on anybody who's ever dissed him or didn't vote for him. You know, he's denied FEMA funds to the blue states. He's sent money to the red states for their disasters, but he has refused. He has refused to help Colorado or California or anybody that's voted blue, anybody that didn't support Trump. He's trying to basically arrest them all. Now, he's demented. He's definitely demented. Before that, he was just a narcissistic pig. Now he's a demented pig. The one good thing about this is now you know who your neighbors are. Anybody who still supports him has a mental problem. Stay away from them. And I know you've got a few around you, Maui. You can't do anything about that, but try to keep your vibe high so that you don't come into contact with them, or contact them as little as possible. Because a Trumper will turn against you in a heartbeat. The minute it becomes inconvenient, or they decide they don't like your color or your religion, the false mask of friendship drops. They show you who they are, because people who are still defending him are defending a pedophile, someone who's had sex with a 13-year-old girl who was tied to a bed. Okay, it's called rape. And yes, he's guilty of it. And people who think that's okay, I don't think they're okay. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want them in my presence. I don't want them in the same building. They belong in jail. But that's right now what we have. We've got a criminal government. And yes, the resistance is alive and well. And we will win. No matter what they try and do, we will have elections this November. And we are going to sweep out some of this perverse illness that has taken over the government. And England's got their problems now, too. They got crazy out there. Oh, I know. I know. I've read some of the Epstein files. Enough to make me sick. But we cannot stop talking about it, because everything he's doing is to distract from the fact that he is in the Epstein files more than 35,000 times. 35,000 times. So we're not going to discuss all the disgusting, horrible, evil things that they've done, especially out at Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. They were very, very, very bad people, and there's still plenty of them, and that's why all the cover-up. Every one of them deserves jail. And eventually, if they live long enough, they will go to jail. Okay, so what I'm making right now is a little girl's pocketbook. It's for a little 4-year-old who is taking ballet, and she is adorable. She is my dear friend's granddaughter. So I want her to have something pretty and original. Like for her grandma. Yeah, you got that right. A unifier of KKK evangelical bullshit. Yep, trying to bring back Jim Crow and all of the evil of the past that we should just be dealing with, but no. They're just trying to bury it and make it come back as a newly branded, I don't know what. They're freaking nuts. They're ugly. They're evil. I have never seen so much human evil at one time. But boy, we got a planet full of it right now, don't we? And we are using I don't think I like the history books, but that will be written. Mine only went up to Bill Clinton. Oh yeah, of course. That's the problem with history books. It takes a lot of years to update them because they have to pay people to update them, and they have to reprint them and then pay for them to go to all the schools. So yes, it's very slow. And I know about that personally because my father created an original encyclopedia for black people only. Well, for white people to learn about black history, but it was so that black people could learn about their own history and take pride in it. And it wasn't as good as it could have been if it was done a few years later when they had access to more information, but it was definitely a new thing on the Isles. And my father had a whole bunch of people all over the world trying to get them into schools so that black kids could feel represented by their schools and communities and not feel deprived of their history. They didn't know their own history because they weren't allowed to know their history. They weren't allowed to know their history because you might think black people were great, because they are. But if a white man is telling that story, they aren't. So my father worked very hard to get those encyclopedias into school libraries, and I will remember the pride I felt when I walked into my high school and there it was. My dad's encyclopedia. Now, back then it was knowledge that we did not have, but it has since been corrected, and not all of what my dad and his people got was correct, even though it was 90% black people providing the history. Some of them didn't have access to very much history, and it took more years to get all that down, to find all the black authors who were obscured by hate. This would not be America that we know if it weren't for black people and their contributions across the board in everything, in agriculture, in medicine. I mean, open heart surgery. A black man pioneered that. About blood plasma. A black man came up with that. Peanut butter. A black man came up with that. So we have a lot we owe the black community. And have for a long time. It's just that white Christian nationalist assholes don't want people to see that. But there are some really good channels here on YouTube for black history. And I might have sent you guys a couple of things just because they were so cool. I posted some stuff here in the community on YouTube, so if you ever want to check out what I post, you might find something of interest. Okay, not done, but it's happening. It's filled in. You can see how it's starting to get kind of wrinkly. Oh, come on. Be careful. I don't want to dislodge. There we go. History is a weird thing. It's a really important thing to know about but not to sit and dwell. If we get stuck in the past, whether it's a personal past or a global past, we are not focused on how things can improve. We're focused on the past, usually the screw-ups of the past, or we're facing the remainders of the screw-ups of the past. So it doesn't behoove us to get stuck there. We just want to check out the past so we know how to move forward without repeating any of the mistakes. Right now we've got a lot of mistakes being repeated. Our government is more like Nazi Germany than not. And we never thought that would happen here in this country. Part of that is because we thought racism was beat. After Obama was elected, aside from that being what triggered so many snowflakes, a black man in office in the White House? Don't you know it said White House? Yeah, but it was black people who built it, so if anybody had a right to be there, that would be him. But that really freaked them out. A black president, oh my God. Well, the rest of the country was going, oh, finally, now we just need a female president to show that we're growing. We have a long way to go. But we are moving forward, even though it doesn't seem like it right now. This is like the last big challenge. And you know what the sad thing about it, for people who love their religion? What Trump is doing is helping kill religion. What Netanyahu, the Yahoo in Israel, what he's doing is killing religion. They're killing religion because people are looking at their excuses for doing what they're doing. I'm just plain sick of it. It's like we're tired of that excuse. You have to stop killing people because they have a different belief system than you do. And if you don't want to, then we're just going to kind of push you to the outskirts of our society because you're dangerous and unpleasant. I mean, we already knew about all those people, preying on Trump and preying on him. Yeah, we know about them. They're just praying to the meme coins.
Oh, look how much money I made on my religion today. If we can get people really scared, then they will give us more money. Because we'll convince them that if they don't give us money, they're not going to go to heaven.
And that ploy is, well, it's pretty worn thin now. We're sick of it. Like, if you want to talk about being a Christian, act like a Christian. I don't want to hear talk about being a Christian. Like, you people that are all proud and pray, I mean, did you not read Matthew? Go back to the Bible. Even I know, and I'm a heretic. Meaning I disagree with people who are totally into the Bible or running their lives according to a 2,000 or 6,000-year-old text, collection of texts that have been butchered and reassembled by basically politicians, people who want to govern others. The soul police, as it were. Now, all of the murder in the name of God is backfiring. Because anybody who is really a Christian in their heart, no matter what they label themselves at, meaning they care about humanity, they care about love, they don't need religion. They have love. They have connection with divine. They don't need bullshit. And more, it's when you see the behavior of the people who are preaching how you should behave, you realize they're bullshit. You can't preach God's love while condemning groups of people for their sex or their religion or their color. That's not spiritual at all. You know, it makes me think of My Fair Lady. Although Gary, you might be aware, but probably not you. I don't know. There's a song in My Fair Lady. It says "Show Me," where Eliza Doolittle is being courted by a rich young man who's just flowing with poetry and flowers for her. But she's heard nothing but words, and she said, don't tell me this, don't do that. If you feel like this, show me. I don't need more words. And that's it. If you're a Christian, it's not your words, it's your actions that count. We can tell who you are and what your real belief is by your behaviors. If you go on Twitter and say how much you're glad somebody's dead, I don't think you're a Christian. Although, in truth, when Trump finally croaks, we will be glad to see him off the planet. But in my knowledge, we don't really die, so it's just a croaking. But at least it will get him out of the game for a while. And I'm fine with that. All right, this is starting to happen. I think we can make it a little tighter. We do have some synthetics wrapped up in here, and the more I felt, the better, because the stuff I am working on is not going to felt on its own. So we're working from the inside out with this project. Yes, and she's back to talk, and I don't know if she's going to run in 28, but man, it would be so nice to have a female in the lead for a change. We do need Kamala. Kamala. A mother for the country instead of this asshole. Oh yeah, well Captain Kangaroo was an honorable war veteran. He was basically a hero in real life before he became a TV star for children. So yeah, I agree. He would have been better than the one we have now. Honestly, a rock would have been better than what we have now. Something that didn't tweet. Ruling by tweet. It's no wonder the rest of the world looks at us like we're all dizzy. The problem is that the rest of the world thinks we all elected him. And we have to keep going, no, it was not all. It was the majority of those who voted, but unfortunately a whole third of the country didn't vote at all. A third didn't vote. So no, he didn't win 50% of the country or 50% of the people. He won 50% of those who did vote, not all the eligible voters. So the cool thing about it is a lot of people who never voted before are so upset right now that they are voting. They can't wait to get into the polls. That's how upset they are with what's going on. So that's, again, we're going to see a surge of voting unlike anything ever before. Oh yeah, he's disgusting. Everything about him is a pig, and I hate insulting pigs. Yeah, he's just a disgusting man. The drag is, and I don't know if I'll ever really accept whatever people keep saying, but being a New Yorker and living down in North Carolina when he was running, my feeling was, oh come on, I know what a piece of shit he is because I'm a New Yorker. We knew about him in the 70s, okay? He was a joke. But that's only because we didn't know how bad he really was. We knew he was an asshole, but we didn't know how bad he was. Not publicly, not where a lot of us could access that information and put it that way. We knew about the parties, though, because I was a young woman, and somebody tried to get me to go to a party. So, thank God I did not end up going. But I was a naive 16-year-old runaway, and I could have easily have ended up, who knows, with my attitude, I could have ended up as in one of Jeffrey Epstein's tanks of sulfuric acid used to dissolve body parts. But I did not believe the South would ever buy it. I didn't think the South and their whole hate of Yankees in general, and carpetbaggers specifically, he is exactly everything the South hates. I mean, everything that they hate. And I don't understand why they voted for him, or still do. I just still do not get why they support him, other than racism. It's just racism. They're going along with the hate. And if that's the part of the country that's still supporting him, well, they can go move to another country. Let them go to Russia, where they can enjoy their hate with other white people who also hate. But here's the good news, and I know it's hard to believe there is some, but the resistance against the tyrants is rising all over the world. Even though England just took a step back politically, believe me, this is the lesson they will not be able to forget coming up. Yes. Yep. He's the last, but the thing is, Net and Idiot, he's down to like a 30% approval rating, okay? He's underwater. They don't want him to be running Israel. And that's according to the Israelis. They don't want him. There are a bunch who do, and those are the haters. Those are the ones that just love being cruel because they're human, not because they're Israeli, because they're assholes. Russia, Putin is terrified of an assassination attempt. So terrified he shut down Moscow to prevent anybody getting in or out who could get near him. He even cut off the internet. Cut off power in areas. I mean, it's like, no one's getting near me. Okay, that's how paranoid Putin is, because nobody wants him either. Everybody's tired of war. Anybody that still goes, yeah, I want more war, well, what the hell is wrong with you? So yes, we're seeing the last big push of big power. And the most delightful aspect of that is that people are finally figuring out who the real bad guys are. Money, money, money. The money changers. No, not the biblical ones. The Elon Musk ones. The Peter Thiel ones. And those are just a couple of common names, all right? There's a bunch of people behind the scenes with less well-known names, who many of them also appeared in the Epstein files, like Larry Ellison. So there's a lot of bad people out there. And what are we going to do about it? Well, one day at a time. Okay, so now we're going to make our first cut. Come on now, don't get sloppy. We have a lot of course corrections to make. prevent people from becoming billionaires again. And we need to take away the power. Sleeper agent. Yeah, Kraskov. They worked on him for 45 years. He's always been an informant, which is why it was so bad when he left the White House the last time with all those top secret documents. Like, obviously you're planning on trading these or selling them. He waves them around like, oh, look what I got, ha ha ha, I was the president. I will be again, only even better, bigger. He thinks he's in control of the world. But that is what happens. Malignant or narcissists do not have a realistic understanding of what they really have as power. And who asked him to go in and redecorate, spend all our money redecorating? We didn't hire a decorator. We hired a president who was supposed to be there temporarily to fix things, and instead he is just spending all his time and money on self-aggrandizement. Another monument to me, another thing with my name on it. Like, that's just more we're gonna piss on when you die. Well, we know what happens to people who are that certain. Nobody is that certain unless their mind is gone. That's just not normal. All right, this looks like it started doing some good embedding, but we're going to have to do some more rolling. And yeah, as all narcissists are, they can do no wrong. A narcissist is never wrong, ever. And whoever, when anything bad happens, it's always somebody else's fault, never them. I mean, those are like proofs of being a narcissist. He is 100% a narcissist. It's never anybody else's fault. If he loses, it's a hoax. You know that one, right? If I lose, it's because there was something crooked going on. It's like, no. Those people woke up to realize what an asshole you are. So is mine. As I learned later, so is my mother. My mom wasn't so much, she was never wrong. I would have to say, although my family determined she was a narcissist, I never saw her that way. She was just all about herself. But she didn't think of herself in some lofty, never ever wrong kind of a thing. I've seen plenty of that. I mean, Glenn could never admit that he'd ever been wrong. Even after 21 years of marriage, he could not recall one incident where he might have been wrong about anything. It's like, wow. Self-reflection, huh? Kind of weird. I mean, I might have had to think a little bit, but I could come up with things that I wish I had done differently. Or where I made a mistake. You know, it's like, I'm not perfect. You can't win with a narcissist. There is zero winning with them. So you can never change them, you can never reach them. You can just be their victim. And as soon as you stop being a victim or you stand up for yourself, it's over. And they get mean too. They get vicious mean if you aren't giving them what they need to feel superior. In the end, Glenn got violent. And just like, I warned you what would happen if you ever lifted a finger against me. So, divorce is what happened. I didn't kill him. He's still alive, I presume. I haven't heard anything from Social Security to the contrary. In what area? Oh look, we're finally getting some migration of that color. Cool. Just to make sure it's not adhering to itself. Ah. Is her apartment better than yours? Like better view or anything? Bigger? Like I love my apartment. I would not want any other apartment in the building, but I know a lot of people here who are like in the middle of the building. It's too hot for them most of the year. But we do the same kind of thing when someone is in bad shape. If they're at risk, like during a fire, people who are really handicapped are told to stay in their apartment until the fire department comes and rescues them personally, because they have a list of that. But a lot of them just need to move downstairs closer to the ground floor. Ah. I'll do it. Booze when you're older is such a suicide. Suicide. Although your liver can handle booze a little better after the age of 40, strangely enough. If you drink before you're 40, you're causing damage that might not be reversible. Yeah, that sounds it. Eleanor Rigby. I used to do that song. My own way, though. It was way more up-tempo the way I did it. A little bit more of a hard rock. Oh, that is felting beautifully. Look at the texture we're getting. But what do you mean things have to change? A lot has been going on here, things that need to be taken care of. What has to be taken care of is what I'm asking. That cut is too deep. What are we going to do with that? Where is my sponge? There it is. Oh, yeah, look at how that felted. Look at all that texture. Nice. The inside is pretty. Feels a little thin there. Now I have, where is that? I have a button. Oh, oh dear. Oh no. So who is advocating for these people? Anybody? You know, to make sure they get the nursing care? See, we have a woman in the building who helps residents arrange that kind of thing. Okay, look how loose these are. I'm gonna have to tack them down. You know, little kids. So we pick, pick, pick. Well, I could make a string, but that would, for little teeny hands, you know. No one replaced her. So, who is finding out all the information for the residents? I mean, who in the building is finding out who works there and who doesn't, why there isn't, and most importantly, who can you complain to make something happen? Because I know that HUD has grants, year grants now, to put someone in apartment buildings just exactly for what you're talking about. Which means the building manager did not follow up on something. So, of course, the question is, how do you get the building people on board the way they're supposed to be? How do you protect the residents of Hawaii from unscrupulous landlords? I like what Mamdani is doing in New York City. That's what needs to be done everywhere. Well, yeah, of course, they're not in charge. Same thing with our management, maintenance. They're not the bosses. They can't make important decisions on their own. You have to know that so that you don't hold them responsible. The point is, who is in charge? See, every state, yeah, I can understand why. There's nobody to talk to. You can't get answers, why bother? That's very frustrating. See, we already know that our management company does not like dealing with people. They only talk to another manager. And when it comes to even saying hello to the people here, well, they're above that. So we know that there are certain things that just ain't going to change with them in charge. All right, I will have to wash this, and after it's dry, I'll see if I can tack some of this down. This is for a little girl, and that means if she's not like any little girl I used to be or have sisters, you like to play with things, and that'll take this apart. So we want that not to happen. I'll have to needle felt some of it in just to make sure it stays. Some of it felted because of the wool coming through the back. Unfortunately, not a lot. So next time, I will lay down a fine layer of the wool fiber and then put the other stuff on it and then layer it in. So you'll have more to mesh with. But I found a way of making texture that's so cool. I have to try that. And it was going to be this project, but this is for a little kid. And what I'm going to do is more of an art project. It's going to take a lot more time and forethought. And that is using a resist to create more texture. Now, I brought my tape to the table because you can do it with tape. And you end up with like a cracked earth pattern. It's really cool. But I saw one I like better than the cracked earth, which tends to be more, well, you know, like cracked earth. Someone made a bunch of these different shapes, and when you first cut them, they're all like this floppy stuff, but then you cut it all, around it, and you end up with some really cool patterns of three-dimensional wool on top of wool. It's really fun. So I saw a vessel made that way, and boy, that woman, I said she's in the advanced category. I'm advanced as a beginner. I am not an advanced felter yet, but I'm learning. After you cut felt, you have to heal the edges. That's just, you know, a lot of rubbing. And it's about time for me to go. Tomorrow, I'm planning on being here, but it won't be until later. I've got a mammogram appointment around lunchtime. So when I get home, it'll be lunch, and then I'll come on. So probably around 3 o'clock Eastern time. Noon. No, 9 a.m. for you, Maui. Okay. Oh, a little more of a curve there. I like that. Now I gotta heal the edges. I will see you after 2. Oh yes. Cyrus might have let me stay up tonight. Might let me stay up tonight. Oh. I don't know. You should probably try and get some sleep, because Cyrus gets you up in the middle of the night. Okay. Ta-da! Well, it's still wet and all that, but that's a little carrying bag. Now, after it's dry, the nice thing about the felt is it'll stick to itself. I don't really have to put anything on this. I'm not even sure if I should, but I'll see what I think after it's all dry. But we've got some wonderful texture. I'm so pleased. And I believe that's because we have 2 different kinds of wool. Notice that the light pinks, but take a look at the merino, the fine 19 micron. We got texture, but not as much as the Corriedale. Thank you. It's for a little girl. My best friend's daughter, granddaughter. I wanted to make something in pink. I've got these lovely pinks. And, yeah, I got these gorgeous salmon pinks, but I don't have anything to wear with it. I don't have a salmon pink dress. It's a bright pink, like a hot pink dress. So I have to come up with something else. Now I saw something really fun. I'm not going to make it because I don't have that much room or really desire. When I was younger, I definitely would have. Making a witch's hat. The felt witch's hats are like from something out of Harry Potter or better. They're huge. They've got a big corrugated cone, you know, tail point, and then they're just adorable, little curls in the end. Well, I have a pink dress. I don't have a salmon pink dress, and I can't say that's really the best color for me, but I do like it as a color. I would love to have something in it. Like the dress I'm wearing right now, I'm wearing because, well, it turns out to be a little too tight fitting. It's too perfect if I don't move. But with scoliosis, everything twists. So it's not the most flattering dress I could wear. But it's comfortable enough, and I like the material, so I can wear it around the house, or, you know, like doing laundry or something like that. But I will not likely wear it out in public. So I guess it's okay that I did not make a purse that matched it exactly. Although this is a cute little purse. You should get I already have a hot pink dress. I was saying I need something salmon pink. Now I do have a beautiful lace duster that has salmon pink in it. So I could wear it, but underneath it would be different colors. Now this is made with Corriedale. It's a coarser wool, so it's very strong. But I think I can felt it a little more. I'm going to try that. After all, everything is an experiment. And this has the black silk. But you know what I like even better is the llama. The llama fur is just so silky, and it looks just like black. It's so dark. But this is like, you can make it, use it as a pillow if you needed it. So we're going to be going back and getting a couple of things. We're going to try and make them even more felted than they are. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we won't know unless we try. So I want to try. And we're going to start with this one because it's got mixed fibers. And I really want to see this felt better because it crinkles up more and you get more of the texture like this. And that's what I'm looking for. Okay, darlings, I'll see you tomorrow if you're around. Have a great rest of the day. Maui, your day is really just getting started, so have a good one. And everybody, please remember, thumb up. I appreciate it.